everyone to the AmErica show. I'm your host, Erica.
Hava nagila hava nagila hava nagila venismecha hava nagila hava nagila hava nagila venismecha hava niranena venismecha hava niranena venismecha uru achim urahim belipsameha urahim belipsameha urahim belipsameha urahim belipsameha urahim Hava nagila venismecha hava nagila venismecha hava niranena venismecha hava niranena venismecha urahim belipsameha urahim belipsameha urahim belipsameha urahim belipsameha urahim belipsameha.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful.
Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. And we are also trying to do a great event of the Mother's Day in our community, and also a very happy Memorial Day. We are almost close to the July 4th for the mega celebration of the 250 years of our independence. We have always believed in pure democracy and our people. We have the freedom to speak and vote. We strongly believe in we the people. Justin, the mayor of New York, Vedat.
Of White Plains.
Justin, the mayor of White Plains, New York, Vedat, the chairman of the Westchester County Board of Legislators, and Vincent, the inspector coordinator at the Westchester County Board of Elections, have been diligently, sincerely, and consistently at the public service which has been of the people, for the people, and by the people. As the mayor, Justin's priorities include increasing affordable housing throughout the city, working with community stakeholders to design and construct a state-of-the-art intergenerational center with a focus on youth and seniors, ensuring safe streets, promoting and advancing sustainability, and keeping taxes down. He intends to work collaboratively with residents, business owners, and city staff to ensure that the city remains the best place to live, work, and raise a family. Justin was formerly a partner at the law offices of Justin C. Brasch, a New York City firm specializing in landlord-tenant leasing and criminal law. Justin is also a former member of the executive committee of the New York State Democratic Party. He has served in numerous leadership positions as a volunteer for a variety of nonprofit advocacy and charitable organizations, including the Sierra Club and the NAACP. As a White Plains Common Council member, he served as the chair of the board of White Plains Youth Bureau. Member of the Budget and Management Advisory Committee and Common Council President, Justin is a member of the Hebrew Institute of White Plains and the Young Israel of White Plains. Vedat's commitment to public service came from his family's experience as political activists and refugees, opportunities he had been working with inspiring leaders and his experience helping to create a country out of the ashes of war. Vedat was born in Kosovo, formerly Yugoslavia. He earned his JD from Seton Hall University. Vedat was later nominated by the United Nations to serve as the chief legal advisor to Kosovo's prime minister. Shortly after Kosovo declared independence, Vedat returned to his home in the United States. His experiences abroad made him appreciate the value of the strong democratic foundation in the United States. Currently, Vedat lives and works in his hometown of Yorktown. Vedat has joined the Rotary Club of Yorktown, has been active in his kids' school, sports, and scouting. Vedat is an active member of the Yorktown Democratic Party, where he serves as a Democratic district leader. He was first elected to the Board of Legislators in 2019 and chair since May of 2023. Vincent, a White Plains native, Vincent Fields is currently an inspector coordinator at the Westchester County Board of Elections. He has been a local civic leader for the better part of a decade. He previously worked in the office of State Senator Shelley Meyer as her district director, as well as a former board of the Loft LGBTQ plus Community Center. He currently is the Mayor Advisory Board for the White Plains Youth Bureau. He is passionate about getting more people civically engaged and uplifting at-risk communities at the grassroots level. Okay, now let's talk about business. So just in the first question, what is your plan and mission about affordable housing and growth in White Plains? We also want to know that when the Galleria Mall area will be reconstructed and what exactly the renovation will be.
Thank you. Thank you, Erica. That was a beautiful rendition or singing of Hava Nagila. It's a pleasure to be here with you. And of course, Chairman Gashi and Vincent Fields, two people that I've known a super long time and I have tremendous respect for, and I've served and worked with both of them. So let's talk about affordable housing. I like to consider myself the affordable housing mayor. We do more in the city of White Plains for affordable housing than anyone in Westchester County. Recently, if you build any of these large buildings in the city of White Plains, 12% of them have to be affordable. I worked on expanding that from 10% to 12% and expanding it citywide. We're excited about that. We recently even changed the income levels that you have to be to live in those affordable units. So now it used to be what's called 60 to 80% of AMI, or the area median income, but now we've reduced it from 40 to 60. So basically, to live in these luxury units, if you qualify, you have to earn between $47,000 and $111,000 a year. So hopefully, we're taking care of the workforce housing that needs it so badly. People who work in the hospitals, people who work in government, school teachers. So we're trying to make sure we have a lot of affordable housing. And that segues us right nicely into the Galleria. The Galleria Mall, as you all know, lived its good life. People had a lot of great times. I would bet Vincent Fields as a child had many good times. They're a fantastic mall. The era of malls has ended. The Galleria is closed. A developer and a German bank have purchased it, and they want to renovate it into beautiful, beautiful housing, primarily luxury housing. I am working around now. This project will not only be it's so big, it will not only be the biggest project in the history of Westchester County, it will be the biggest project in the history of New York State outside of New York City. It'll either be 7 or 9 large towers, which will be great in our fast-growing and very successful and safe city. What I work day and night on now is under our affordable housing rules, the 12% would mean we have to have 300 affordable units. But we're actually trying to work with the governor to make it 500 additional units of affordable housing. So could you imagine in downtown White Plains, we might be adding 500 units, 800 units of affordable housing, which would kind of be unprecedented in Westchester County. Lest anybody think I'm not working hard enough on this, I was in Albany working with the governor and her people last week to try to get this over the finish line and to get us to the point where we can get that extra money to build all that. So we have lots more plans for affordable housing, but we have other great speakers. But yes, we will always be working on affordable housing. We are rebuilding our public housing and with funds from the City of White Plains, and you can count on us. And if you have great ideas for affordable housing, definitely share them with us. Thank you.
Wow. Okay, Vedat, a question for you. Job maker versus job seeker. During this inflation, the industry is struggling vehemently. What has the board been doing to expand the county's skilled workforce?
Well, I think it's a great question. Affordability has been one of the biggest questions that's been asked of us, and I know a lot of people are struggling with this economy. We just set up an affordability and economic development task force to explore with the different sectors. So with Business Council of Westchester, with the Westchester County Association, with the nonprofit sector, finding ways that we can address some of the questions that a lot of people are struggling with. Legislatively, we just recently had a couple of bills that I think are going to help in this regard. We passed an apprenticeship bill, which is going to require that on any government project of sufficient size, they're going to have an apprenticeship program. So what's great about that is it means good paying local jobs. It's not jobs going out to people from outside, it's people who will be living in the vicinity. And it's not only addressing the current jobs, but helping create the next generation of jobs. So that apprenticeship program is something we were proud of. We were able to pass unanimously. And then we also just on Monday passed another bill on leasebacks, which covered a problem. Normally, if the government's working on, if government has a construction project, you're going to have prevailing wages and union jobs on those sites. We had problems where there was a workaround where it would the landlord it would be work done by or at the government's request with the government's money, but not having prevailing wages. It was a loophole that existed, and we closed that. So more jobs are going to be available for people. I think that's part of the way we answer it.
Okay, great. Okay, Vincent, what is your plan to increase the civic engagement, and why is it so important?
Okay, so in terms of plans or kind of ideas to get more people more civically engaged, and when I say civically engaged, kind of more engaged in local government or kind of civics that you can actually go out and read and touch, you know, like your mayor's office or your kind of local county legislator. And a lot of people kind of gloss over this kind of influence, these kind of structures that kind of have a direct impact on our lives. People forget that there's an election every year, not every 4 years. You should know the name of your county legislator. You should know the name of your mayor. You should know where they stand on, and you shouldn't, be familiar with their face, not just the face of your congressperson or the president, who you only vote for every 4 years or so. Actually explaining to people or kind of showing people that these Justin and Vedat and myself are not scary. We're very friendly. We're your neighbors, and really we're here to serve you. So to demystify that whole kind of dynamic is kind of number one. When that happens, people kind of pick and choose how involved they can be. I always tell people you don't have to be a nerd like me. You just have to show up a little bit and kind of and just use your phone to just educate yourself every time you go into the ballot booth. And so that's the number one plan, really demystifying that there's a lot of amazing people that do a lot of great work that are right around the corner that are your neighbors. So
Great. Okay. So Justin, what are your plans for the youth and senior programming?
Okay, so one of the things I ran on and that's very important to me is creating an intergenerational community center in the city of White Plains. We're the fastest growing city in the state. We're growing, and we have, and in general, fortunately, we're in a reasonably decent economic situation. And we don't have an appropriate place for everybody that lives in the community to work and to play and to communicate and to be together for constructive activities. So I want to build an intergenerational community center. Our youth bureau, which is the second biggest in the United States, and provides great activities. And if you can't afford them, you don't even have to pay for them. So they don't have enough space. Our senior center is actually in a basement with no windows, and it's very insufficient for a fast-growing and beautiful city like ours. So I want to build one big center where everybody can be together with athletic facilities and with food and programming for seniors, and actually to bring the kids and the adults, the kids and the elderly people, our seniors together. We have a Grandpa's program, one of the only ones in America, called Grandpa's United, and those kids are already meeting the grandpas, but could you imagine if they were in the same space together? How amazing that would be. So, and it's one of these things that takes on a life of its own. I was meeting with the leadership of White Plains Hospital, and when I told them we're going to build this great center where everybody in the community is together for education and singing and dancing and communal life, they're like, we could teach classes on healthcare and on careers in healthcare, and we could teach classes on nutrition, and we could teach all kinds of classes. So my vision for the city is that we're going to create something beautiful where everyone can come in, get educated, nurture and teach one another, and feel as our city grows that our community exists within the city of White Plains.
Wow, excellent. Okay, Vedat, people are worried about the rent increase. Hike in the school and property taxes of the homeowners, increase in maintenance cost, etc. It's getting very difficult to pay the bills and to meet the ends. How and what do you address about the mounting economic pressures on the residents?
Well, yeah, no, those pressures are real. As I mentioned earlier, it's something we hear frequently. I would jump on what Mayor Brasch said a moment ago. About affordable housing being part of the answer. Part of the problem is we don't have enough housing out there. Building more housing, especially affordable housing, is going to be one of the only ways that we can really tackle that in my eyes. And I'll borrow from Vincent on the next point on taxes. Because when we mention taxes, there's the town tax or city tax. There's the county tax, there's state tax, there's all sorts of the school tax. These things are all put together to yield your final bill. And I'm only in the county, we only have that portion. It's important to know the different actors, and so, as Vincent was saying, good to know your local representatives, your mayor, your legislator, your people in addition to your Congress and your president, because though those positions are important, also important to have the people who are directly addressing the parts of the bill that we're talking about. And what I usually tell people is, if you have a question, direct it to me. I might not be the person responsible for it. I might not be able to answer it directly, but I'll know the other people. As Mayor said, we've gone back way, we have a long history. We can go back if there's a question that I think Vincent can help on. Being that help and being that interconnection is one of the things I think is so important about the job that we do.
I do want to just add to that for 1 second, though. Vedat, or Chair Gashi, who I've known for many years and we've been friends and we work together, does raise one of the most important points, though. That Vincent raised the issue that everybody should be more involved in government and know who you're voting for. But he raised a brilliant point, which is so important. When people have problems with government, you should know at least one of your government officials, local, county legislator, city council, mayor, state assembly member, state senator, it doesn't matter, but that is the person you should call when you have a problem, because we all work so collaboratively and together to try to help people. 9 out of 10 or even more of our local officials in Westchester are hardworking, sincere people who want to help and get things done. So it's important for you to know, you should really call me, you should call Vedat, you should call Vincent, and if you know State Senator Shelley Mayer, you should call her. Doesn't matter what your problem is, you should call the person you know. They can help you answer your questions, and they want to help you answer your questions, and that's an important thing for the public to understand, so thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, Vincent, solving the housing crisis is a big challenge. What is your take and solution?
Well, it's kind of all-encompassing at this point. It's a national issue, and we are in we live in a very special place in the country. we live in a very expensive place in the country, and the country really has a lack of inventory. We really have a lack of inventory. There's not enough housing in any kind of level that are going up. That's why Mayor Brasch is working so hard making sure that there's a lot of affordable housing coming up in White Plains, et cetera. I know Vedat is doing similar things at the county, my take on it is that because it's so large, we have to look at everything. We see a lot of these buildings, luxury houses, things like that. That those luxury buildings could change over the next couple of decades. They could possibly become co-ops, like that's kind of the part of the course with a lot of buildings of the same size. But if you still want to own a single family home, if you possibly want to buy a townhouse, people my generation, we really have a lot of limited options to actually for home ownership. Housing is directly tied also to like family planning. Can you have another kid? Can you have a kid? If you can't really afford to have open space or another bedroom. So that's why I really, Vedat brought up kind of tax burdens. Really look at what your tax burden actually is, and then because that's also a factor in buying a home, especially in this area. My take is that we have to look at everything, and also a federal response also counts as that as well.
Thank you so much. Great answer.
I just want to add one thing. Sorry, I know I'm interrupting a lot, but Vincent makes the most important point at the end, which is he says a federal response. The size of the housing problem we're dealing with in the metropolitan area is completely overwhelming. I was fortunate to be in a small meeting with Mark Levine, the New York City Controller, and he made quite clear to us that in New York City they need 500,000 to 1 million homes to make the supply, to meet the needs of supply in the city of White Plains. Think about it, close to 1 million homes. And if you think about it in the metropolitan area, we're talking probably 2 million homes because there's 20 million people. So we all need a federal response, and certainly our Congress member, George Latimer, is working very hard all the time to work on affordable housing. But on the national level is the only way we're really going to solve it. White Plains is so proud, and I know Vedat is helping out on the county, and everybody's pulling together. But we can't create the hundreds of thousands of units that we need. I'm sorry to interrupt again, but I think it's an important point for the people, for everyone to understand, because people think we can solve it and we can do our part. And I know these gentlemen are doing their part, but everybody needs to know it's a federal problem.
No problem. Okay, so Justin, I'm going to start with you. Can you please tell us about parking and your plans for it in White Plains?
Okay, well, we have a very short time, but I will say that we're trying to find ways to make parking more accessible, easier, to expand parking. I'm happy to report that the hospital is building 1,950 lots, parking spaces in a garage.
That's great.
To take some pressure off our system. We don't have enough parking in our city, and we're always looking for ways. And we will continue to look, and we're also looking for ways to make things a little fairer. I'm trying to figure out how to extend the grace period for parking in our city, because when you get a ticket. But I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Vedat. Unemployment, debts, foreclosures, bankruptcy, bad credit report are not any breaking news in today's date. So there are crime, we see domestic violence, theft, robbery are happening around us. We have heard about the Louisiana mass shooting. And what is your message and plan to control the most vulnerable among us?
That's a great question. I would start with, I guess, disputing the premise a little bit. I think there is this notion of increased crime, but what we've seen here in Westchester is we've kept crime down, and actually crime has decreased in the past, I'd say, decade, and we're fortunate to have a safe environment to work with. Now, we still have a lot of problems. Domestic violence has been a huge problem. We have funded a lot of it we do with the help of partners like the Pace Women's Justice Center and too many others to list, but people that provide resources for a person dealing with domestic violence in their home. But we also passed a bill to allow free lock changes for a person who's the victim of domestic violence. Sometimes you would know that they need to have those lock changes, but they can't afford it. Now the county provides for that when they need it.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so Vincent, literacy and good governance are precious. We need to boost up education in which libraries play a key role. So what does it mean to you?
What does that mean to me? And just real quick, I think the library is probably one of the biggest underutilized, underrespected resources that we have in our modern society. I'm a library trustee in White Plains. I know Greenberg has a fabulous library as well. There's so much stuff that you can get at your local library that people don't even know. You can get, at least in White Plains, you can get a free New York Times, and that's everything. The recipes to the games to the everything. Free Washington Post, museum passes, free music. If you want to start a hobby, if you want to start gardening, we have a seed bank. That probably the biggest, one of the biggest aspects of government that has bipartisan support is our local libraries, and just reminding people that there are some things that not only has a lot of things for you, but also for your children and for your parents, maybe your elderly parents that you can really fully utilize. So
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you. Okay, give me a good, brief closing statement, starting from you.
Well, as we're going into further into 2026, I want everybody to realize that the people have the ultimate say at the end of the day. And I know there's a lot of things that are very, very overwhelming that are happening in the world. Please, I say all to you, please don't feel helpless. We're one step at a time, and we're all neighbors at the end of the day.
Sure. Good. Vedat?
Well, thank you for having this show. I think this is part of the answer. I
Thank
think
you.
having the opportunity to reach out to our community through new and different ways is part of the answer. Really proud to be here with Vincent and Justin. These are fantastic public servants who are doing the work that that we need done. I think we've said a lot. I would only add Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Memorial Day is coming, the 250th anniversary you mentioned of our independence. It's a great time to be here.
Okay, Justin?
I also want to thank you, Erica, for having us. This has been great. And as I've said repeatedly, I've worked with Vincent and Vedat for many years, and they're excellent public servants and friends. We socialize and have a great time. I want to also echo what everybody else said. The most important thing is to be informed and to be involved, and that's how we're going to make the world a better place, and to vote, and that's how we all will get the affordable housing we need and to get the better libraries that we need. I love being the mayor of the city of White Plains. It's an incredible opportunity to serve. I want to remind everybody that we will be celebrating the 250th anniversary of America on July 12th in White Plains. We'll be having our fireworks on July 2nd. We hope that you can all join us at the high school for that. It's been a pleasure to be here. Erica asked me to say something about anti-Semitism, so we all know that anti-Semitism is on the rise. It's a terrible scourge. I happen to be the only Orthodox Jewish elected official in Westchester County. And unfortunately, I feel it and I see it. And let's face it, anti-Semitism and anti-Zionism are hate movements. Hate will rip, and any kind of hate will rip and destroy our society apart. We need to stand together with all communities against hate. We don't care if you're Black, Latin, Jewish, Christian, Muslim, and we certainly have to make sure to protect fight Islamophobia. We have to fight all forms, LGBTQAI. We must all work together in our county, keep hate out, support one another, and encourage one another to live freely and fully, whether you're Jewish, Christian, Muslim, as I said, all of the other different types of people we have in our beautiful and diverse community. Thank you.
Great answer. And as we all know that Westchester, starts with the letters WE, which is we. So I would like to convey my sincere thankfulness to the panelists. Thanks to Justin, Vedat, and Vincent for their valuable and informative responses. Thanks to the studio engineers for their patience, creativity, composition, and professionalism. Once again, a very happy Mother's Day to all the mothers, and a very happy upcoming Memorial Day. And see you all in the next episode with new idea, new theme, new panelist. Thank you.